Welcome, everybody, to episode 47 of Cocktail Hour. This is Rev, and Andy is taking a well-deserved vacation. So I am joined by my lovely guest co-host, Megan.
Hello.
There you go. And we have an international show tonight. I mean, we would anyway with Megan being here, but our special guest, Cari Hunter, is in Britain. Do you want to say hello, Cari?
Hello.
Very nice. What a fine, lovely accent you have. I'm surrounded by accents, except, one is Canadian. But that's okay. All right, so I'm a little nervous. I'm just going to tell everybody. I've already told Cari and Megan because I've not done the show without Andy yet. So this is a little different for me. We're going to be talking about not Megan's book, because she doesn't have one that we're going to talk about today. Although you are published, right?
It's a couple of short stories.
Yeah, we'll talk about that another day.
Yeah, whatever.
So Cari's debut novel, Snowbound, is what we're going to be talking about. And Megan went on a search to find a drink that would be appropriate, and I found a couple. I found one that was actually called Snowbound, but neither Megan or I had the correct ingredients, so we decided to go a different way. And Megan found one called Snowcap. Are you drinking?
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Hold on, sorry.
Well.
Best laid plums.
There we go. Our first. I thought it would be my dogs for sure.
I thought it would be my cats.
Oh, just a bunch of unruly animals everybody has. So, while Megan is gone, I think my dogs are about to go now too.
You can edit this out, right?
Yeah, exactly. So while Megan is gone, I'll just say how I made my drink. And I used the delicious Swiss Miss with mini marshmallows as my base for the hot cocoa, and then I used 1 ounce of vanilla vodka and 1 ounce of Kahlua. And I haven't tried it yet. And it's August and it's kind of hot outside, but I'm sure this will be fine. So. That's really good. That's good. I like the marshmallows. I didn't use whipped cream, but the marshmallows are good. Megan, are you back?
I am back. Sorry about that.
That's all right. That's all right. We were sure it would be our animals that would disrupt the show. I had forgotten all about yours. Yours are usually pretty well behaved.
Usually.
All right, then. So how did you make your drink?
I used a dark organic hot chocolate and added 1 ounce of vodka, 1 ounce of Kahlua, put a little bit of milk in it because I always put milk in my hot chocolate, and I opted out of the whipped cream because I didn't have any. And unfortunately, it's like 29 degrees in my house, and that's not counting humidity. So this is a hot drink on a hot day, and it's not really hitting the spot. Let's just say that. But it's good. It's sweet, but I'm just sweating buckets.
For us non-Celsius users,
sorry.
What is that?
That's pretty freaking hot.
Oh, okay. That's all I really needed to know. It's like 90 degrees or something, isn't it?
I think it's higher than that. And then I don't know what the humidex is. 1 second here. Let's look at that.
Bunch of freaking nerds. So, Cari, what are you drinking?
I am drinking PG Tips, which I have added a short dash of milk to. So I'm basically having a cup of tea.
Very nice. Are you using your 90? What is it? 90% of cats prefer lesbians.
My 8 out of 10 cats prefer lesbians mug. Yes, indeed. I was made the cup of tea by my lovely wife.
Oh, that's very nice. She's very helpful.
Kitchen on my own.
And are you enjoying any delicious tarts or scones or anything like that today?
I'm not, no, because A, I thought I'd make a mess, and B, I thought it'd be rude to chew and talk at the same time. So.
Oh well, that So thank you. We appreciate that, because I had leftover pizza for lunch, and something else would have sounded better. But all right. Well, Cari, welcome to the show. Megan, thanks for joining me. And there are two announcements that I wanted to make. One is that Andy and I have been in talks with author Bev Prescott about doing a 3-part series on health and physical and mental well-being, and we're going to be doing that at the end of this month. I think we're going to be doing our first episode. So if you have questions or comments or anything that you would like Bev to address, please drop us a line. You can email us. You can give us a call and record a question. So if you have anything like that, and Bev has already been addressing these issues on her blog and has been getting a really, really positive response. So be sure and check that out. And then I also wanted to share with everybody the kind of final results for the Caring for Cara auction that's been going on. The auction has ended, and with the calculating the high bids and the donations that we've received so far, we were able to raise nearly $11,000. So I want to thank, on behalf of Roselle and Allison and Sharon, we were the ones that were kind of doing it. I got to be webmaster for that project. We really want to thank everybody in the community who donated their money, their time, their skills, their merchandise, and just the community in general for coming together and making this such an incredible success. So, and I know that Cara was very, very moved and continues to be very moved by the outpouring of support. So, thank you. All right. Well, I don't have anything else to talk about before we get into it. Either of you?
I'm just silently applauding that total there. That's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Yes. Personally, I'm just happy that my wife didn't end up with that damn cocktail hour T-shirt. So I'd like to give a personal thank you to Charlie for rescuing me from that. So I'm not mean. Damn woman. She's.
I let mine buy a book cozy.
You wanted the book cozy? Oh no, your wife did. That's right.
How donuts.
My friend Erin was a little ticked off about that, but she got the mug cozy, so it was okay. So, like I said, our guest is Cari Hunter, and instead of reading her biography off of the Bold Strokes website, I'm just going to say some of the stuff that I know about her. I've been lucky enough to get to know her and her wife a little bit better through the forum and through the mostly lesfic Goodreads group, and it has been an absolute pleasure. I mean that sincerely, really. So Cari is a paramedic, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and who works bizarre hours and also writes fanfic and has a second novel pretty much ready to go and should be out in next spring, right?
Fingers crossed, yeah.
Okay, and is already working on the sequel to that. So I know there's lots of other stuff that I missed. You like to jog and climb mountains and hike.
I got stung by a bee today.
You did? Are you okay?
Yes. I'm quite bitter about it, though, because it was entirely unprovoked.
Those fucking bitchy bees. I hate them. Did you kill it?
Wasp, I could understand it, but bees are supposed to be cute.
Oh, was it a bumblebee or a waspy type bee?
I don't know. I was too busy hopping about screaming to identify it.
Wow, your butch points just took a big dive.
I came in and made my wife put bicarb on it while I went.
Oh, where did you get stung?
On my leg. Just under my knee. Still hurt. I'm being brave. As you can see, I'm just soldiering on.
We're very impressed. Is there anything that I missed that you wanna touch on?
No, I think you've covered pretty much everything.
Wow. That makes me a little sad.
I bake a nice cake.
Very nice. And you and Ferox have taken it upon yourselves to educate everyone on the forum about different food items from your region, which is nice. We had neeps and tatties.
We've had black pudding.
That's disgusting.
Scones.
So, scones, that's good.
Scones, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah. And we like pie.
Pie, lots of pie. Yeah.
Pie.
I don't know what it is about food in my books. Every time I look at my books, there's food on every other page. It turns into a theme. I don't know how or why.
Well, that's not a bad thing. All right. Well, we're going to talk about Snowbound. And I came to find out about Snowbound through the Mostly Lesfic Goodreads group. It was selected as the book of the month for May. And I wasn't sure if I really wanted to read it, but Megan had already read it and said how good it was. And so I'm going to let Megan do the summary of the book.
Oh, you're not serious.
You've read it 3 times. Just don't be so gross.
Okay. Okay. So Snowbound is a book. Oh, I hate you, Sherry.
I know.
Okay, so Snowbound starts off with a bang. We've got Sam, who is a Manchester police officer. She's from Manchester, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's a Manchester police officer. There's a tremendous snowstorm going on in that part of England. So she and her partner are dispatched outside of Manchester, and they're responding to a call for a robbery in a jewelry store in a small town or village. And I can't remember the name of it right now. But anyway, so they arrive, they catch the robbers in the middle of the robbery, and Sam's partner is shot at, and she's taken hostage. And the first half of the book is an extremely suspenseful, tension-filled ride as Sam is being held hostage. And we have Kate, who is a doctor in that town or village, who goes to help one of the robbers who was injured, as well as Sam. And so the first half of the book is just, it's great. And the second half of the book is good too. It's very good. And it focuses, but the second half of the book focuses more on the relationship that develops between Sam and Kate. So it's kind of half intrigue, half romance, and it's just an excellent read. I've read it 3 times now.
Was the second time shit?
No, the second time was great. Because I read it in when it first came out, and then I read it for the book of the month, and then I read it for just this week. Well, and every time I read it, I still really enjoy it. So even though I know what's going to happen, and you know, I'm familiar with all the characters and all the twists and turns, I still love the book, and I still really enjoy it.
I only said that because Cari had made a comment earlier on the forum that she always expects people after they read it the second time to say, yeah, I really liked it the first time, but the second time it was just a big piece of shit. I was terribly disappointed.
No,
so,
and I can honestly say each time I really enjoyed it.
And that's, for me, knowing you, that's really impressive, because you actually are pretty hard to please. Well, no, but I mean that in a good way. I mean, I know that if you recommend a book, I'm going to probably really like it. Whereas you can't really say the same thing for me, you know?
Yeah.
It's a crapshoot.
It's
a crapshoot, yeah. So, that was a very nice summary. Very good.
I think that's myself.
I find that most authors don't really describe their books very well.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. but it's kind of fun to listen to them. One thing I wanted, when I read the blurb, there's a sentence at the end of the blurb that says something about, how they need to stay alive to continue with their building attraction, and that was one thing that I really didn't see. Was they didn't
that they didn't need to stay alive?
No, that they didn't really have a building attraction through that entire thing. It was more of from my point of view, it was much more of a bond that developed through being in such a stressful, harrowing situation. I mean, to be sure, they flirted a bit here and there, but it was more of a. I didn't see like a building attraction like you usually see.
Well,
let me just give a.
Sorry, I would just say the first half of the book was all suspense. Like there was no time to take a breath because you're just like flipping the electronic pages, going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and then like, oh, okay, let the romance begin.
Yeah, it was. So what happens is, Sam is taken hostage, and then Kate is called in because Sam cracks the two bad guys are brothers. Did you say that? Because I was trying to pay attention, but okay, so they're
okay. Should we just say whoever? This show is going to be full of spoilers, so let's.
No. I want to try and contain the spoilers.
I don't know if I can. Anyways, okay, go ahead.
Well, if it becomes too spoiler-filled, I'll put it in the show notes. But I do want to try to contain the spoilers in this one. Okay. So the two bad guys are brothers. One brother who seems to be kind of, oafish and stupid, and then the mastermind brother who seems to be kind of a vicious bastard. So Sam smacks she smacked him in the head with a shovel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So she smacks the oafish stupid brother in the head with a shovel, and the other brother then shoots her. And I don't feel like that's a spoiler because it's on the first page of the prologue.
Yeah. It was the premise, isn't it? So
yeah.
You can get away with that.
Yeah. So Sam gets shot, and then he just kind of leaves her to be, but then he's having some concern about his brother's health, and that was one thing that seemed to be kind of universally when it was commented on, like on the mostly lesbic group, and talking with other people about it. The quickness in which he called the police to get a doctor in, it just seemed too fast.
That's fair enough.
Have you heard that before?
I think I picked a comment or two up. It might have been you that said it. I might have seen it.
No, I don't think it was me.
In the early days, back when I was too shy to actually reply.
Oh no, actually, I think it was me, and then Nikki. I think Nikki's agreed on that thread.
The problem with these two guys is that they're not very good at what they're doing. They haven't thought this thing through. They keep asking for helicopters in the worst snowstorm that's hit England in years, that kind of thing. So they're not actually brilliant at what they've not got much forethought.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is a lot of what motivates them they've seen on the telly. They've watched something like CSI Miami and they think they know how it works.
Right.
So, people in these situations, they call somebody in to help. They don't think anything of that. And to be fair, nothing particularly goes awry when Kate comes in. I mean, she's not armed to the teeth. British police aren't actually armed to the teeth. That was a comment I got from somebody who wrote with some feedback, said I really, really enjoyed Snowbound, but I got really frustrated with Sam. She let herself be taken hostage so easily. Why didn't she shoot them back? Well, because she's got a stick and some basically. British police, unless they're in the armed unit, aren't actually armed. They don't have a handgun or anything with them to defend themselves. They literally have a baton and some tear gas. So, I should have made that more clear in the text. You just forget sometimes that it's got to translate overseas.
That's one thing that I did like about it too, is that you didn't try to put it in America. Because anybody that I've talked to about that's one of my pet peeves. That's pretty well known at this point. It felt right because it was placed there, and I don't think that it's a bad thing that you didn't explain it, because you know what, you shouldn't have to over-explain something.
Yeah, I guess look it up, Google. Yeah, I do that a lot.
I always thought everybody knew that the British police officers aren't armed.
She didn't.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. I don't know that that's very well known here.
I've read a lot of British mysteries and that sort of thing, so it could just be that.
I think maybe they should have armed her with a boomerang, or
no, that would have been Australian.
I know, but they, at least then she could throw her stick and get it back.
Yeah.
Or maybe some ninja stars. I don't know. Maybe for a sequel you could look into that, because that could be kind of fun, along with the zombie chickens.
Okay.
All right.
Chickens, that is.
Zombie chickens. So the other thing that one of the things that I really liked, it was that Kate really went through. There were some opportunities for Kate to help out with the bad guys as far as incapacitating them, and she was really torn by that, with her first do no harm. She is a doctor, but then she really had to balance that against saving Sam and getting her out of there too.
I mean, she's got somebody who's completely dependent on her to help out, as in Sam, and then she's got two idiots who've kind of put themselves in a situation, but still, when I pick a patient up in an ambulance, I can't say, well, I don't like you, so I'm not going to give you any morphine, you look like a shit. They all get the same treatment, and I suppose as a doctor you do exactly the same thing. You can't judge, and you can't dole out treatment based on what you actually think about that person's personality. So, yeah, the first do no harm thing, eventually she does have to make that choice. But I think if I'd written her being very glib about it or rushing into it, then I don't think I'd have liked her character very much.
The characters really rang true, I thought, as far as as just being people. As a reader, you're really able to get into the story. And one thing I have to say, and I know I've said this before about in different areas about your writing, both the fan fiction of yours that I've read and Snowbound, is that they're incredibly well written. As far as dialogue is really good, and the characters, they feel real. They feel like actual people, not just some creation. Do you know what I mean?
Superhero women. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to sort of write people that you could bump into on the street. The people in these kinds of jobs, they're not superheroes. They're just taking a wage home at the end of the day, really. And it was that, I think it was ordinary women who are just thrown into something extraordinary and have to do things that they never would have imagined themselves doing to sort of come out the other side. I mean, Steve and Eric, the bad guys, I've had them on the back of my ambulance, boys like that, lads like that. So you kind of pick up on how they speak and the tough guy act, and that does help with writing dialogue. I mean, I love writing dialogue, and I think speaking to so many different people from so many different walks of life helps me out immensely with that, because you kind of get used to the sort of cadences and the way different people from different classes or education levels, how they speak, and you're able to put that onto the page, possibly more fluently than somebody who sits in an office or sits behind a computer all day. I'm not sure. I think Maybe. It gives me a good advantage, really. Just sitting in the back of an ambulance and chatting to people for 12 hours a day.
Yeah, but you also have to have the skill to be able to translate that to the page. And I think that, don't sell yourself short, because you really do a great job of it.
Thank you.
And I'm sure that your wife has a lot to do with tightening all of that up, too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
We were just arguing over a bit of editing before we came on here. We're leaving like little notes in the margins again.
So she got you all riled up before we're recording. That's really not very fair.
As usual.
From what I understand, that is usually the way it goes, isn't it?
I might stamp my tiny little feet and pout a little bit, but usually she is right, and I just give in.
Well, now you have to be careful with your stomping since you're injured and all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I did want to say is, are there no snowmobiles in Britain?
No.
There are none. You have no snowmobiles.
Seriously.
They don't get snow. Not like
we don't.
We do.
We really don't. It was so weird because I started writing Snowbound probably 5 years before it came out. Kat waited an awful long time for her Christmas present. And in those 5 years, we had 2 of the worst snowstorms this country has ever seen. Snow of the sort of magnitude that's in Snowbound. And I just thought I'd brought it on myself. Because when I'm writing it, I'm thinking, well, we never really do get snow like this. So, it's a bit
So it was you.
We did.
It's not global warming. It's you. Al Gore was
Seriously.
wrong. Okay.
I'm going to set the next novel in a really sunny climate and see what happens.
No, don't. We're already having drought.
We're having a crap summer, so.
Megan, what do you got? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I've already said I really, really enjoyed the book, and I do agree the dialogue and the characters are just phenomenally well developed, and the dialogue is very, very funny. You have a great ability to build tension. Because like the first half of the book, as I said, I was just flipping through it as fast as I could to find out what was going to happen next. And what I really, really liked about it is how human both Sam and Kate were, because they would try things and they wouldn't work. Because usually, when you're reading the book, the hero comes up with a plan to get away from the bad guys, and they get away from the bad guys, and right off into the sunset. But, Sam had, like, shit-ass luck when she's in the back of the car, and she had the great idea with and I'm not going to say it because I don't want to give spoilers.
The thing with the thing.
And that didn't work. And also, when they get hurt, and even the bad guys, they're down. And that's kind of nice because there are some books I've read that if someone had gone through everything that Sam did, they'd still be running down the mountain, at 15, 20 kilometers an hour, just,
with Kate on their back.
With Kate on their back. Yeah, exactly.
Sledging down the hillside.
but they would have time to stop to have sex against a tree at least once.
Yeah. Oh dear God.
But, Sam and Kate and the bad guys as well, they all took some really nasty hits, and they're all wheeled from it, so it was very realistic. Sam took her a long time to get to heal, and, she had the hell with it. So, she had infections and, and all this sort of thing. It was all very, very real and very, very human. So it made it much easier to relate to these characters. The only thing where I kind of lost it was in the last bit where she's hobbling to the rescue.
Seriously, take the cab further up.
Exactly. She's like,
she didn't know.
I know, but okay. So here's the thing.
Quarter miles through the driving rain on crutches.
Yeah, but wait. She doesn't know if Kate is even there, and she sends. No. Go ahead. I'll be fine. Shit. Wait. They have the cab wait.
This is a good point, actually. The fact that she didn't even know Kate was there.
And she says she doesn't know if she's there, and then she sends the cab away, and I'm like, no, something horrible is about to happen. You're going to need the cab.
And then when they get in there...
You never met an English cab driver, have you?
No, I guess not, but...
Put that love, I'm out of here.
But yeah, other than the hobbling to the rescue, and even after, in the final scenes there, they still were getting the snot kicked out of them.
Yeah.
And it was great.
It was.
And I really, really, really liked that in the book, where they were real characters and you could see it happening to real people.
And, one other thing I wanted to point out, too, is that you don't lay a lot of background out for these characters. We kind of join them right then and learn about them through their reactions as they go. I mean, we get a little bit, and I read the interview that you had on BSB about the similarity between Kate's mom and your mom as far as calling when she should know that you're just getting off shift. But I think that really helped to really keep us in the action. Because there weren't really flashbacks or anything like that had to take us away from that moment, and I think that really did help to build the tension and to keep it going, because it was nonstop for that first half.
Yeah, I think because I never really wrote it as a novel, because I just wrote it as a story. That me and the missus were the only ones as the intended audience for it, really. I wasn't putting any real thought into what a typical novel should be structured like. So I wrote it as as it occurred to me. There wasn't an awful lot of real planning, or I'm not going to say no thought went into it, but it was more of a fly by your seat of your pants kind of writing experience. So in terms of that probably explains why it's got a kind of a strange two-half structure to it. So you get the intense action, to start off with, and it is quite relentless for the first half, and then it settles down. And I think you get to learn more about Sam and Kate in that time then, because they actually get a chance themselves to take a breath and have some chats and, get a bit of background from the supporting characters, really. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it lost anything by, not having any big dramatic synopses of who these characters are. I think you know them pretty well by the end of the book.
Yeah, I think it worked better being structured like that, because you're not boring the readers with exposition and, flashbacks to this, that, and the other thing. The people act like we get to know Sam as Kate is getting to know Sam, and vice versa. And so it's how they are now, and not necessarily, and how they act now, and not what's gone in to build them into the people that they are. And I was quite happy that there wasn't tremendous amounts of flashbacks and exposition and angst, about this, that, and the other thing. This was a great paced novel. And I liked the fact that it was that two-parter. I think I compared it to Room in that way, in that you've got, you couldn't write a book, like a full-length book, with that much action. Your reader would have had a heart attack.
Yeah.
Or
and then I'd have been called up to pick them up.
Exactly.
Reading like a book like that is exhausting, and I think Dean Koontz did one. It was Intensity, which was it just didn't let up, and it was exhausting to read the book. It was good, but the first half you get really invested in those characters, and the second half you learn a lot more about them, and you don't want to put it down because you've invested so much in these characters.
Hopefully by the end of the first half you like them, and then through the second half you want them to work out. So that's nice when it happens.
Yep. Well, I hope your next book doesn't suck, because you have a lot to live up to now.
I love the next book. I am very fond of it indeed.
All right. I wanted to ask you before we move on into the fan fiction, unless Megan has something else. Did you want to go on and on about how much you love the book some more, Megan, or are you done?
This is a book I have no problem recommending to people. I think this is a great book. It was a great surprise because I had no idea what to expect, and go out and buy the book, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely buy this one. Buy it. I wanted to ask you, how did you get hooked up with Bold Strokes? I mean, because you wrote this for Ferox as a gift, and how did it move from that to getting into the hands of Bold Strokes?
I think we got to a point with it where we liked it enough to start thinking about maybe sending it off for consideration for publication. And over here a few years ago, there was a brilliant book and arts festival called YLAF, York Lesbian Arts Festival, that we used to go to every year. It was held in York. It was over a weekend. One of the new signees to Bold Strokes, Corinne Claxton, was fundamental in getting it off the ground and getting it grants and organised. And Bold Strokes used to have a massive presence there. Radcliffe, the owner, boss of Bold Strokes, used to be over there. And it was one of the, there was Bold Strokes and Bella, the two companies that we knew that were still big and still publishing, because obviously a lot of the lesbian small presses have fallen by the wayside in the years. So we only sent it to Bold Strokes in the end, largely because of YLAF and because of how enthusiastic we knew Radcliffe was about the whole process and getting authors supported and into print. So that was how we came about thinking about it, and then it took me about another year to actually pluck up the guts to send it off. I just figured that, every budding author should get at least one rejection letter in her life, so...
But you didn't.
I didn't expect anything of it. I seriously really didn't. But I thought it was worth a shot.
Well, I'm glad that you did, and I think I speak for Megan on that also. Just from the couple of good words she said about your book.
and as Sherry said, if I don't like the book, I will let you know if I don't like the book.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed for the next one.
Yeah.
I was to disappoint.
Well, if I unfriend you on Goodreads, you'll know why.
You've got a few good months yet. Don't worry about it. So, no, you got your start kind of doing fan fiction, and I know that you started. Did you start out writing Sarah Connor Chronicles, or did you do other stuff first?
Oh, X-Files was the very first. And
wow.
This is way back, sort of when I was at uni. I'm not going to tell you how old I am. But it was while the X-Files was on and big.
You're not older than Megan, so...
You're older than me, Sherry, so...
No.
No, come over there and smack your heads together.
See, you're doing fine. So you started writing X-Files, okay.
What was that? X-Files, yeah. I did one for that. I did a couple of very short ones for Willow and Tara from Buffy.
Oh, nice.
And then I think the next thing that I actually started was Snowbound. And then the Sarah Connor Chronicles came along, and Snowbound got put on hiatus for about 2 years while I wrote an extremely long series for that. And then moved on to Rizzoli and Isles when Sarah Connor sadly got cancelled.
Well, I mentioned that I watched the first 2 episodes of Sarah Connor Chronicles, and I wanted to like it so much, and I didn't, and then I never went back to it. But because of Megan talking about it primarily, I started getting interested in Rizzoli and Isles, and I hadn't watched any of the shows or read any of the books or any of the fan fiction, but I was intrigued just by what I had heard of it. And then on the forum, I think Nancy Jean started talking about Rizzoli and Isles fan fiction, and
I think she asked me for Rex, and I gave her the
and that's how I think you ended up over there with us too. Is through there. So, so I think Nancy Jean.
Now
you're everywhere, and I can't get away. Damn it! With your wife ridiculing us constantly with our misspellings and.
I'm also beating you in the Olympics, Paul. Don't forget that.
That's right. You're tied with me now, aren't you?
I am sitting you out in my evil minion at the moment.
That's fine. I can be your evil minion. It's better than having you, Ferox, and Nikki all with 6, in 6th place, because that's just terrifying.
Quite uncanny, that, wasn't it?
Yeah. So now I had talked to Megan about reading Rizzoli and Isles fan fiction, and she said that the show was fan fiction of the books, and she didn't feel like she wanted to read fan fiction of fan fiction. But because she agreed to co-host the show with me, and she can't help but be prepared because she's just like that, and I appreciate it. So, Megan, you did read them, right?
I read them all. Actually, and I think I've had this conversation, and it may have been with Cari. I really liked the Rizzoli and Isle books. And then when the series came out, I watched the first couple of episodes, and it was nothing like the books. So I didn't watch it. And then the whole Rizzoli and Isles fan fiction thing came up, so I ended up watching starting the Rizzoli and Isles again. And I'm far enough away from the books that I don't think of Rizzoli and Isles as related to the books. And I enjoyed the series. No. So I really enjoyed the books.
Uh-oh, Megan, we're losing you.
I've lost Megan a bit.
Adjust your headset, Megan. All right. Well, we've lost Megan. She'll pipe back in when she gets there. I read all of the ones that I could find. So I'm just going to run through them, and you can tell me if I missed anything. So I'm not going to ask you to summarize any of them. You don't have a list? Well, that's okay. So, I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different fics, and just like your book, very, very, very well written. There's and I found it was funny for me because we've talked so much over the past few months about the differences between the words and the phrasing that Brits use compared to Americans, and how sometimes that can really come through when British folks or I mean Irish people, the European folks write American characters, and there are only a few. And I look really closely when I'm reading anything from you now, so it's really not fair. I am, and I highlight them all. But they're so well written, and I really feel that that you have a good grasp on the essence of the characters, and I haven't felt like this. Very very few authors, I think, really get the essence when they're writing fan fiction of the characters. A lot of fan fiction writers just kind of drop characters with the same names and features into the situations that they want them to be in, and they could really be anybody.
Especially if they're writing NC-17, I found that.
Yeah.
You might as well just, scrub a name out and copy and paste another one into it sometimes.
Yeah, but with yours, it really, I felt that, Mora was Mora, and it wasn't just the same person putting words into each of their mouths. And all of your fics are really short, and I think there was only one that had any type of intimate touching, and it was I think just the kiss, and that was Ask Me No Questions. I wish that I know that you're busy. I know, so I'm not gonna beg you to do anything else, but I really wish that you would do a nice big multi-chapter fic that has Mora and Jane already involved in a sexual relationship. Not necessarily for sex scenes, but I would love to see how you capture the intimacy between them.
I think the last 3, I did Monday, and then the last couple that I did for season 3, Your Life, My Hands, and what's the last one called? I've forgotten the name of the last one anyway. It was
I looked under your live journal, but I didn't look at them. Yeah,
those two season 3 ones have, because I wrote Monday and liked writing them as an established couple who were kind of hiding the fact that they were a couple. I carried that on into those season 3 fics, and there were actually a couple in those too, which worked out quite nicely. They were quite fun.
Oh, that's right. I did read Monday, and it was, and they were in a relationship, but still hiding. All right. Looks like Megan says her headset is toast. Megan, just take it off, and just talk without it, because I don't know how to edit, and so we're not stopping the show. Oh, okay. Well, say something. All right. Well, Megan's gone, so
it's just me and you.
It's just Megan she's typing to us, so it's all fine. And really, oh, Megan just called me a bitch. That's really not nice at all. I think that
She's
Megan. Huh?
She's blaming you for muting her.
Oh, I don't have that kind of power, I don't think.
You wish you had that kind of power.
I wish. I'd mute her all the time, whether we were recording or not. Well,
now.
Oh, I can almost hear you, Megan. Speak up louder.
Can you hear me now?
Ooh,
barely.
Barely.
All right. Well, shout really loud if you like the fix.
Yay!
Oh, there you are.
We have a vote from the Canadian jury.
Yeah, we can hear you. Did you want to talk about any of the fix that you read?
I actually really enjoyed them. I was expecting something along the lines of the Xena fanfics, where it was the long drawn out, 400 page angst-ridden stories, and these were like nice short little vignettes that sort of filled in the spaces in between. And
I seen fillers or tags.
Yeah, and I really, really liked it, and I liked Monday quite a bit. You guys were just talking about that one, but I really, really enjoyed them, and they were short, to the point, and they just sort of completed what you saw on the TV show.
And one of the things I like, I finished watching season 1 of the show, and I'm at this point, from all of the wonderful things I've heard about season 2 and 3, I'm not real sure that I'm going to continue on. But I do.
I would quit while you're ahead, personally.
I think I might. One of the things that I really have developed I like Maura Isles. I like her personality. I like how smart she is and how quirky she is, And again, I think that you capture that really well. In Monday, when maybe it's because of your medical background, but some of the details that you put in, like when she put her fingers inside her wound, when Maura gets stabbed in the story Monday, and just the way you describe it, and it's you have a lot of nice blood and guts and gore, and that's nice. I like it, because if you're not given a sex.
in beating my characters up and making them suffer.
It's very nice. We enjoy suffering. We enjoy suffering. It makes the sex better later, I think. Well, there you go. Well, I don't know. I don't really have anything else. Do you have anything else? Megan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, we can.
God, I feel like I'm in a Sprint commercial. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Actually, you sound about the same. You sound fine.
Oh, okay. I don't really have anything else to say other than I really, really enjoy Kira's writing style, whether it's the fanfic or the full-length novel. Please get that full-length novel out sooner than spring. I want to read it now. I know. That's
maybe you could hook us up with a review copy or two for the review site.
I will do my best.
If you dare.
If I dare. Well, I'll have to get a copy of it first. When it's been through its editing and faffing around with it. It still has to go through that first.
Did you want to tell? Would you like to share what it's about?
Oh, Desolation Point?
Yeah.
I could, certainly. It's set mainly in America this time, so I don't know whether I'm going to get my ass kicked for that. Because it was weird when I wrote Snowbound, I was thinking, oh God, it's too British. And now that actually worked out really well. I'm thinking, oh God, have I shot myself in the foot by setting this one in America? But having said that, I am thoroughly supporting the British contingent because one of my characters is British. So we have Sarah from, up here around Manchester, and Alex, who she's actually from Boston, but she's kind of working in LA at the start of the story. And right at the start of the story, some pretty terrible things happen that pretty much, well, fuck up both of their lives, really, to the point where one loses career and the other loses family. And some months later, they both find themselves, for their own reasons, hiking in the North Cascades Park in America. For the British people who might be listening to this and have no idea where that is. Sarah sets off up a peak called Desolation Peak, hence the title, which is just slightly altered from that. She sets off alone, and obviously, because it's me writing this, the shit hits the fan. So while she's up there, a storm closes in. Alex is some distance behind her, doing her own hike. Anyway, long story short, there's a bad guy out there in the mist. Sarah pinches something that he needs very much, and Alex is drawn into it when she sets out to find Sarah.
Is it his snowmobile? Did she steal his?
It's not a snowmobile. No, there is no snow in this one. There is mist and sleet and miserable weather, but there is no real snow.
Yeah, I think you're due for a book that's set in like a tropical.
Definitely. This one I'm writing at the moment, I actually went out of my way to make it hot all the time.
Can't we have anything that's you just some kind of nice temperate climate, where
just normal weather. Anyway, so basically it's kind of a thriller, romance thriller, action adventure. I have no idea what category Bold Strokes are going to put that in. Good luck, Bold Strokes. But yeah, hopefully it's a lot of fun. I love the two leads. They are a very cute couple, I hope. And good old action adventure chase plot, really, with a few twists and shocks and plenty of bullets and misery, because it's me writing.
That's awesome. Excellent. And that's tentatively going to be available for us in the spring, and you're still working on the sequel to it already.
I am. I took a chance, and I've started a sequel because I wanted to write it. So, it's one of those where you think, well, nobody's even read the first one. How the hell do you know they're going to read a bloody sequel? But like I say, I wanted to write it, so I took a chance.
Excellent. Well, good. And I'm looking forward to reading it when it comes out. And I'm assuming that are you still writing any fan fiction?
Not at the moment, but because I tend to tie them into the episodes. So as soon as the show fucks up something, I feel the urge to fix it, really. And
I
if the
appreciate
show being
that.
what it is, I get plenty of inspiration. So.
Excellent. Okay, well, we'll keep, and I will put I'll put a link to your live journal in the show notes, so folks can check out your work there. And then you do have a site for Cari Hunter under live journal also.
Yeah, I am a woman of many pseudonyms.
That's awesome.
My fanfic is CJ 2017. I think one of the nicest archives for it is probably Archive of Our Own. It's nicely organised, or just FanFitNet. It's probably easier to navigate around that than the live journal. Live journal's very bitty and awkward.
It did take it. I couldn't find everything I wanted right away. I ended up having to go through.
I mean, they're tagged, but it is difficult to. And I don't think the formatting's brilliant either. I think you're much better on FanFitNet or Archive. Person.
And I want to tell everybody too, if you're using Calibre, there's a plugin for fanfiction.net that you can you just put in the URLs of the story that you want, and it compiles it into a beautifully formatted ebook. So if you're using Calibre, I highly recommend that you look for a plugin for fanfiction. I forget what it's called. I'll put it in the show notes too. I don't remember where I found it, so you're on your own. If you can't figure it out, shoot me an email and I'll try to help you out. But try first. That's what I tell my kid. You got to try first, and then I'll help you.
You're a tough mum.
I'm not an enabler, you know. Yeah. Okay, so we'll make sure we get all of the places where folks can find your work. Seriously, listeners, if you haven't read Snowbound, go read it. And if you're going to try and Google it, it's not the same fan fiction there's a fan fiction called Snowbound by Queen for Four. It's not the same one, although that was a really good story too. You can go ahead and read that, but it's completely different outside of some snow. So be sure and pick it up and read it. It was really good. Cari, thank you so much for joining us. I know that your work schedule has been very, very hectic, so I appreciate you taking the time to talk with Megan and me.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me and for saying such lovely things. Where do I send a check?
We'll talk about that offline.
Okay.
All right. Excellent. Megan, you've been a lovely co-host, and
thank you.
You and I are actually getting together again in just over a month's time.
Yeah, September, I think, yeah?
September 15th. You and I are going to be talking with Catherine Lundoff. That is the one that Andy's going to be on the cruise for. Andy's just taken time off this one because, like I said, she was supposed to record last week with Ashley Bartlett with Adrian as her co-host, but Andy took sick. She was ill and needed to cancel, so she's trying right now to reschedule with Ashley, so we'll keep you posted on that. If you were looking forward to that show, I'm sorry, but it just wasn't able to happen. We were going to post this show next week, so that we wouldn't have two shows back to back, and with Cari's schedule, this was the day that worked best. But since we didn't have a show last week, we're going to go ahead and get this one posted today, if Andy can do the editing for me. And then, let's see, I'm looking at the schedule. Then we've got Bev Prescott coming to talk with Andy and I. That'll be a bar rag, and that'll be the first of at least a three-part series. Then September 1st, Liz McMullen will be back as guest co-host with Andy to talk to Winter Pennington about her new works. So you're not going to want to miss that. Other than that, I got nothing. So there we go. See, this is where Andy usually says goodnight, and now I'm lost. Andy, I miss you. Okay, well, thanks everybody for stopping by and talking with me, and have a great night.
Thank you so much, Sherry.